All right. Good morning, everybody. You are welcome to today's class. I'm Ife Olua, and I'm glad to have every one of us around. So thank you. Thank you for joining us again today. Sorry for that noise. All right. So we are here to continue our class on web design. So this is the web design class for the Ember Booster. So we thank every one of you that you are here already. I want to thank everyone that is joining us through the Zoom platform and those that are joining us through the Google, Facebook platform. So you're all welcome. It's another day to learn. All right. So we are getting started immediately. The time is 11:01. Okay. So welcome, Favor. Thank you for coming in early. Glad to have you here. So you're welcome. I recognize your presence. Do you want to say hi? Okay. All right. Favor, connect your audio so that we can hear you. Okay. So to everyone on Facebook, you are all welcome. And I want you to do something for me today. As you are joining us on Facebook, click on the share button to share the video with others. There are some people in your networks that need to see today's content, that need to be part of this class, so they can also join us. Don't be selfish. So help us to share with others, and let's get started. Okay, so let's start the way we used to start, with a word of prayer. Our good God, we worship you. Thank you for this morning. Thank you for this opportunity. We ask that you will grant us understanding as you used to do. Thank you, Father, in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. So we want to continue from where we stopped. So last time when we met, I shared with us the theoretical aspect of web design. Let me quickly do a quick run through of that so that we can do a recap. It's good to start with a recap so we can know where we are coming from. So I'll be sharing my slide now to quickly do a quick recap of our last class. I hope we can all hear me clearly. From my side here, I can hear us all. Okay? All right. So my slide will be up in a few seconds. Okay. So here we go. Can we see my slide? I believe so. All right. So this is where we started from in our last class. We started from what is the internet. And through that, I was able to explain to us that the internet connects people across the world to one another through a massive global network of computers and devices. So with the internet, you can communicate with people across the world, access and also share information. And this is a definition that was given by Microsoft. And you know, Microsoft is a big player in the internet business or in the industry. So we can trust their definition. Okay, then we also discussed the World Wide Web. And we say the World Wide Web is a collection of documents and resources that people can interact with. So we access the web using the internet. So these documents on the web are what we call web pages. And by the time we are building our own website also, we'll be adding to these available documents. So we'll be putting our own documents also in the World Wide Web. All right. Then we also talk about the issue of domain and domain extension. And I said the domain is basically your web address, and it comes with an extension. So the domain extension most times gives us a little clue or information about the type of website we are about to access. So for instance, if you are accessing a website that has a .com, that is .com extension, that means you are dealing with a business organization, a profit making business organization. But when you have an extension that is .org, that is org, that is for a non-governmental organization. So when you have something like edu, that we generally call edu, that is you are dealing with a college or an higher institution. So we have a lot of them like that, and the extension give us a clue of what the organization or the website owner, what they are doing. All right. Then different types of websites. We look at different types of websites. We look at the personal website, the NGO website, the commercial website. We look at blogs, social network platforms. We look at vlogs, forums, and many of them like that. So there are a lot of website types out there, depending on what you want to use it for. Okay. Then we move on to learn about planning and conceptualizing a website. That is, the process of building a website does not necessarily have to be something that is that tasking, or you have to be specially talented for you to be able to build a website. Not necessarily. You just need to learn the skills, and in the process, you will be able to create good websites. So we move on to learn about what we call the web design thinking process. So we look at define, research, ideate, sketches, prototype, test, and present. So these are the thinking processes we look into. Okay, so we said at the define stage, we are trying to understand the problem we are trying to solve. So understanding the problem, as I mentioned, it is like 50% of the job has been done. So when you understand your problem, you'll be able to know the right solution. Then you do a little research to gain more insight into the problem and the solution that's expected, to know what people have done in the past in solving that particular problem, to know some gaps that you can fill, basically in the area of solution, and what you can improve on, or what has not been done that you want to introduce. So the research will help you in achieving that. And I gave us like 3 websites that we can visit that day. I said you can go to freepik.com, you can go to Dribble, and you can also go to Pinterest. So these are some of the platforms you can go to for your personal research. Okay, so then we have sketches. So sketches involves your wireframing. That is a kind of test that you carried out, sketch that you carried out, so as to make your work easier when you are interpreting your prototype. So when creating your prototype, your sketch is just to guide you. So you begin to turn your ideas into simple sketches, and you start bringing your imaginations to reality with your sketch. Okay, then we have the prototype. The prototype is actually the actual design. So that is where you carry out your, you unleash your skills and knowledge. So the real design is the prototype. Then you test. You test every aspect of your website. You check for bugs. Bugs are just some things that are not working on your website. That's what we call bugs in web development. Okay, then you check for your links, you check for your images, you check for your search engine optimization, you check whether you have communicated the message rightly. So all these things will be checked at the testing stage. And finally, you present your website to the right audience. You launch your website. People now have access to your website. And while doing that, you download a backup of your website in case something you did not prepare for happens. And you also check your payment gateways and other things to ensure you have a successful launch. All right. Now, this is not the end of your web process. There will still be some iterations that will go on, like there will still be some improvements that you will need to do. But at least that is the process. Okay, then we move on to learn about the 8 core pages of the website. That for every website, there are some pages that are important for it to be called a website. And we said one of them is your home page. Your home page is the landing page. That's the first page that we interact with. Then you have your about page, your service page, about page. About page is where you talk to people or your prospects about your business or your offerings. Then your product or service page is where you display the brand's product and services. The benefits and features of the product or services are revealed and the respective costs. So this is what you do at the blog page, stage. Then your blog page is where you write and give product updates. So you write some things about your how-tos, your benefits, your features. So this will help your search engine optimization. It will also help the visibility of your website on search engines. Then we have your legal pages. One of them is your terms and conditions page and your privacy policy page. These 2 pages are your legal pages, and they are very important for your organization. You must have those 2 pages for your website to be approved in some places or for you to run ads on your website. Okay, then we have the last page, which is the 404 error page, that you only see this page when someone mistype or is asking for a URL, that is a web address that is not available on your website. So this page will show up. Okay, then we look at the basic parts of a website. We look at the header and the menu. I've taken time to explain this, so I will just scroll through it. We look at your hero and the feature, which is also the featured image. Then we look at the website content. And finally, we look at the footer, which is the last part of a website. All right. Okay, then finally, we look at the common types of website layouts. So the single column, the split screen, and this was our assignment. I asked us to read up on this and to summarize what you have read. Okay, so make sure you are submitting your assignment because the day of reckoning is coming. So the day we check your assignment and we couldn't find your assignment, then it will be difficult. You might not be able to graduate with the other people. So try to be doing your assignments. This is your first assignment. Read and summarize the content, and you have to submit it to training@afterschoolacademy.ng. Just give a summary of what you learned from reading that particular content on the website. Okay? All right, thank you. So let me also put the email address where you submit your assignment to: training@afterschoolacademy.ng. So all assignments should go to that email: training@afterschoolacademy.ng. All right, thank you. Okay, so finally, we look at some web design tips. Keep it simple, be consistent, have a clear call to action, easy navigation, don't give people problems, make it easier for them. Use keywords to help your search engine optimization. We learn more about that in the as we progress. Limit the number of clicks, include title and meta tags. We will learn more on that also. Have a clear contact page, make it easier for people to know how to reach out to you. Use descriptive call to action button test. Don't do something like maybe don't just write short CTA test. We'll learn more about that. Don't let me take more time on that. Use less of stock images. If you have your way, make sure you use original images of the business. Then always fill in the alternate text and description for images. We'll learn more about this as we progress. Then good use of contrast. Then build for users and not for you. Okay, so that's just a quick recap of what we had last time. So today we are going to have our 1 day of code. So this is not a coding class. is a web design class, and the web design is being approached by making use of a content management system called WordPress. So it's not really a coding class, but it's important as a web designer to have a brief understanding of HTML, especially at least HTML or HTML and CSS, so that you'll be able to do some simple manipulations in the process and you understand some terminologies. In fact, the major reason why we are taking this intro to HTML is for you to understand some basic terminologies, industry terminologies for web design, okay? So that whenever I'm making mention of something like get your anchor tag, or I make mention of something like let's style your padding, or let's style your create a padding space, or when I'm talking about your heading, your H1, change the H1 color, change the H2 color. All those things will not be confusing. You will understand them. So that is why we want to take this particular class. And if this is your first time of writing code, you are welcome. You will write your first code today. So coding is a very interesting thing and you will enjoy it. So let's get started. Who is ready for today's class? Let me get our feedback. Are you ready? Okay. Are you ready? All right. Okay, thank you, Adenike. You are ready. Good. Anybody on the Facebook that is ready? Facebook. Okay. All right, so we are ready. Let's get started. So we are starting with HTML. So what is HTML? So HTML simply means Hypertext Markup Language. That's the full meaning of HTML. All right, thank you, Favor. You are ready. Good. So HTML is Hypertext Markup Language. That's the full meaning of HTML. So let me put it on the chat section in case, because I did not write that in my slide. Hypertext Markup Language. So it's not necessarily a programming language. It's just a markup language. So not necessarily a programming language. See your HTML as the backbone, as the skeleton for your website. So every website is formatted in HTML and CSS. So even when you build your website in WordPress, your browser will still format it as HTML and CSS, then JavaScript in some aspects, or PHP, things like that. So, but you must know that the basic structure for every website is HTML. So that's the structure. That's the structure for your website. So I will give you an illustration of what I'm talking about now. Okay, so let me open a web browser for me. So just to illustrate what I just said, I will open a web browser now for us to see. Okay, so if I go to afterschoolacademy.ng, that's our website. Okay, now on this particular website, I told us the other time that this website was built making use of making use of WordPress. Now, let's check the back end of this website. So to check the back end of any website, just right click on any page on the website and click Inspect. Inspect. So that's the shortest, that's the shortcut to check the back end of any website. Sorry, the coding as part of any website. So that's the shortcut. Just right click and click Inspect. So the element, under the element, you can see at the top, you can see doc type HTML. I believe you can see this. Let me expand it. So under elements, element is the HTML. You can see doc type HTML. And by the time I'm putting my mouse on some part of the code, you can notice that by my left-hand side, that particular aspect of the code is being highlighted. So if I want to click on the header now, you can see this is the header. That's why when my mouse is on it now, the only place that is selected is the header, okay? Then if I scroll down, I can see the section that is below, all right? So why I'm showing you this is for you to know that your browser, that is what you use to access the internet, or your website generally, when they are being interpreted on your browser, it will be interpreted as HTML, and the styles will be interpreted as CSS. You get it? It doesn't matter whether you use WordPress or not to build it. No matter what you use to build your website, it will still be formatted as HTML and CSS in the back, at the back end. Okay, good. So we need to understand HTML. That's the whole essence. All right. Any question about that? No question. So let me proceed. So I'm returning back. Okay, I'm hearing you.
Okay, can you repeat how to get the back end?
Okay, so I said to access that coding part of your website, the code part of your website, to open it up, just find any empty space on your web page, then right click. As soon as you right click, you should see the option of inspect at the lower end. So just click on inspect. Do you get that? Do you get that? I need a feedback. So just click on inspect, and it will open up that behind the scene aspect. Have I answered your question?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Into web designing with HTML and CSS or with JavaScript, you will learn more about that backend. But for now, that's enough for now. All right, let's proceed. So let me go back to my slide. So today, the goal is to study about to learn more about the HTML elements that we have and how we can make use of them to build our website and their functions. What do they do? And what are their interpretations? And how will it affect your work? All those things. So we'll be starting with the heading elements. Now, in coding, or programming generally, there is something we call your syntax. So syntax is just some guiding rules or just some structures or rules that is guiding a particular language. So for instance, Concord is the agreement of your verbs with other elements of with other part of speech and things like that. So you have what we call your gerund, many things. We have the rules for exclamation, rules for punctuation. You have your grammar rules. You have many of them like that. That's the same way it works in programming language. You have your syntax for each language. You have some things that makes them to work. Every language has their own elements. So in HTML, we have the heading element, the paragraph element, the void, and many of them. So, but these are just the few that we are going to be looking at today. So how do we get started? The first thing is, for you to write a code, you need a code writer. For you to write a code, you need a code writer. That is what you are using to write your code. So I remember when the first time I started HTML, that should be in 2013 of, I think, yes, around that stage. That time we used to write our code making use of Notepad. It was so tedious, and in fact, you don't want to start writing code with Notepad. It can be so frustrating. So, but this time around, the technology has improved and we can now write code with better code writers. So today, or in this training, you'll be making use of VS Code. So to download VS Code, let me show you that now. I will open a web browser because you will do your own practice also after the class. So there will be a day when we enter the training fully, when all of you will be expected to come to class with your system so that I can be checking what you are doing. But for now, we are not yet there. So just go to Google and search for VS Code download. So then you should be able to see a good result for that. So this is the link. This first link, that's what you need. Download Visual Studio Code, okay? So just click on it and you'll be directed to be able to download it. So this is Windows version. Just click, depending on your system version. So if you are making use of Windows, click on Windows. If you are making use of Ubuntu, use Ubuntu. That's for Linux systems. If you are making use of Mac, that is Apple systems, just click on the Mac version and you can download your Visual Studio Code. You get it? So that's how to download Visual Studio Code. But if you're having challenge downloading it, just let me know on the WhatsApp group and I will send you the installation file directly. Do you get it? Okay. So that's about downloading your code writer. So after downloading your code writer, you are expected to install it. You shouldn't have any challenge installing the code writer. The only thing you need to do is to double click on the file you downloaded and you'll be good to go. Okay, now the question about, is it possible with a system? Yes, there are code writer for phones also. So are we at the end of the class on the WhatsApp group? Please remind me in case I did not remember to do that. I'm going to share with us a link for the app, phone app that you can use to write your code. Do you get it? So we do that. But for now, so that we won't be moving from back and forth, let's just focus on the system version for now. Do you get it? Okay. So I'll be available on the WhatsApp group to take any of your questions with regarding to the app usage. So we solve that also. You're welcome. Okay, so let's proceed. So I already have the VS Code installed on my system. What I will just do now is to go straight to the VS Code. Work has started though. This is a practical class, so it won't be much of talk. So just pay attention and ask question immediately. Just drop a chat for me as soon as you couldn't understand any aspect. Get it? So this is VS Code. I'm using the dark screen or the night screen. So that's why my page is dark. Yours might not look like that when you install it. It might have a white background. It doesn't change anything. So when you open your VS Code after installation, this is what you should see. So at the top, you will have your file, your edit, your selection, view, and all those tabs that you need. Then at the left-hand side, if I open up that side now, you should see your Explorer for folders, your search, then your source control. If you want to download Git, well, we are not doing that. Then if you want to run a debug, then your extension. Now, there are two aspects that I need you to pay attention to on this left-hand side. The first one is your Explorer. That's where you will search for your folder and work on your folders. Then the last option is your extensions. Okay, so there are four extensions that there are three extensions that are very important for you to install as soon as you download your VS Code. Okay, so the first extension is your live preview. So let me put that on the chat section. Three extensions that you are expected to download as soon as you install your VS Code, okay? So you just go to search extension in Marketplace. Make sure you are connected to the internet when you want to do that. So the first thing you search for is what we call your live preview. Search for an extension. Extension are just some applications that you use to add functionalities to your VS Code, okay? So you install your live preview. Live preview is just an extension that allows you to be able to see the front end of your code. It allows you to see the front end of your code as soon when you are working. Get it? So you don't necessarily have to be opening your browser to check the front end of your code. The live preview makes it possible for you to check the front end. Anytime I say front end, that is the end that people will see, the visitors of your website are interacting with. So the live preview makes it possible for you to check that. So the first extension you download is the live preview. So I'll be typing extensions to download. On your VS Code. So I'm typing that also as I'm working, so that we can have it. Okay. Number one is your live preview. Then the second extension that you need is what we call your pre-tier. So pre-tier is an extension that makes it possible for you to be able to format your code very well. So pre-tier is very good is a very good extension for code formatting. So it's a code formatter that makes your work easier. So you download pre-tier. I won't go deep into explaining what code formatting is, just to ensure that your codes are correct. It will be checking if your codes are correct, if they are well formatted, and it will give you some auto, just like when you are typing on your phone, and you have what we call autocorrect, you get it? So pre-tier makes that possible also with your VS Code. Then the last extension that you're expected to download is what we call your VS Code icons. So your VS Code icons, VS Code -icons. So the VS Code icons are just basically some icons that comes with your VS Code. VS Code icons, good. So you download that also. So those are the three requirements, or three required, those are the three required extensions for you. Okay, thank you, Aziz. God bless you. Thank you for that, for helping me to type that out. You are making, in fact, maybe that would be the best way to go. So someone can be helping me to type out those things on the chat section. All right. So those are the three extensions you need from the extensions marketplace. Now that you have that, you can now go to your Explorer. The work can start now. Okay. So on your Explorer, click on Open Folder. Yes. Okay. Click on Open Folder. That's the first thing you will have. Now you need to create a folder for your work. Everything you'll be doing will be saved in that folder. So you can put it on your desktop. Now, for instance, let's say you don't have this option called Open Folder. Maybe due to some things, this Open Folder option is not showing here. But you are expected to click on File at the top left-hand corner and click Open Folder. So that's another way to go about it. Do you get it? Good. So I recommend click on Desktop, or you click on Document, depending on the one that works for you. So let's say I want to use my Documents folder now. I click on Document, then inside your document, create a new folder. Good. So create a new folder and title it, let's say, HTML. So that's the folder name. Then select that particular folder. HTML. So it will reload your code. It will reload your VS Code. Then it will ask you, do you trust the author? Just click on I trust, mark it, then click yes, I trust. Then you can close this one, this welcome message. Good. So you now have HTML folder here. Okay. Now, move your mouse. Please pay attention here. Move your mouse to where you have the HTML folder. Then immediately you will see some 4 options that will come out. 4 options. So I'm taking it gently so that everybody can follow. I don't talk slowly like this, you know. But I want everybody to understand me. That's why I'm talking slowly. So in case you are watching the recording, don't be annoyed that, why is this brother talking slowly like this? I want everybody to be able to follow. That's why. Okay. So click on new file. Just the first option by your left-hand side, or sorry, by your right-hand side. Click on new file. Now, we want to run an HTML code. So the first page, just like your own page for your website, we always titled it as index.html. The meaning of that is then the title of the file is index. The name of the file is index. Then the extension for you, for VS Code to be able to understand the programming language you are currently using. So the extension is .html. Do you understand that? Okay, so if you understand, type HTML in the comment section so that I will know I can proceed. Then you press enter on your system. All right, thank you, good, beautiful, awesome. Awesome, good. So I can proceed. So now, as soon as you press enter, the index.html file will be opened. Index.html window will be opened. And there you will have your space for writing your code. Once again, the disclaimer I'm making is my own screen is set to dark background. That's why you are seeing this black background. In case on your own screen, what you have is a white background, it's still the same thing. So please pay attention. Don't let that confuse you. Maybe you have a white background. I work with dark background a lot because of my eye. I don't like seeing white background. It has a way of affecting my eye. So just bear with me, okay? So now, the next thing you want to do is you want to create what we call your, okay? So the next thing you will do, the first thing you have to do now is you need to create what we call your boilerplate. Boilerplate, let me type it on the chat section. Your HTML boilerplate. Create your HTML boilerplate, okay? So the boilerplate is just a set of information that tells your web browser that this particular website is an HTML website. And you can also add some information to it. You will just understand now as soon as I do that. So to activate your HTML boilerplate, click on Shift on your keyboard and press 1. So the meaning of that is you want to activate your exclamation mark on your keyboard. So Shift 1 for Windows users. That is, if your system is a Windows system, it should be Shift 1. If your system is a Mac system, then I'm not on Mac, so I don't know the command for that for now. So, but for Windows, it should be Shift 1, okay? So just find a way to activate your exclamation mark. That's the most important thing. So as soon as you have your exclamation mark, press enter. Okay, so when you press enter, this is what you should have. So the boilerplate should come up. So you will see doc type HTML. The same thing we saw when we checked the back end of our website that time, if you remember very well. Okay, so that's the same thing you have here, doc type HTML. That is, this document is an HTML document. Now, the next one is HTML language. So the language is English. So anything I'm typing here, the browser will be understanding it as English. Do you get it? So that's the meaning of lang. Lang equals to EM. If you want to understand better, just put your mouse on top of any of the letter. It will give you more information. Do you understand? So that's the language of it. Then the character sets. So what we call meta character sets are the way your browser will format some text that you use. So basically, you don't need to disturb yourself about that, but we have different character sets. But the one that is generally used and which will format your text correctly is the UTF-8 character set, okay? Then you have your name, the name for your view, the name for the particular view you have for your meta at that time, the meta tag. So then the content is just, it helps in what we call your website responsiveness, the responsiveness of your website. You don't need to touch anything here, just leave it like that. It makes it possible for your website to be seen very well on desktop. Then it will still be okay on tablet, and it will still be looking good on smartphone. So that is what we call responsiveness, and this particular information takes care of that, the scaling, the width, the device, and things like that. Then the title of your documents. So you can name the title of your document, anything you want to name it. So that title will be what you will have on your browser tabs. I will show you that one now, practically. Okay, so let me rename this. Okay, before I do that, let me show you that one. So because I have preview extension uploaded, if you go to your top right-hand corner side, you should have something like a little search icon on top of maybe two box icon sets like this. I believe you can see, okay, let me use annotation so that you can see that. Let me activate my annotation. So I will draw a square around what I'm talking about now. Okay, so you will see a red, anywhere you see a red square, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, can you see this red square, red box? I need that feedback. Can you see the red box? Where I place the red box now by my right-hand side. Okay, good. So that is where you are going to click to preview what you are writing, your code, the code that you are writing. That's where you are going to click. Okay. So you click on it. Okay, thank you, Aziz, for that. So you click on that preview. And as soon as you do that, your front end will be shown. So this is your front end, as you can see. Okay. Now, on the front end, at the top, you can see documents. I believe every one of us can see it. On your tab, it's just like your browser tab. So at the top of the browser tab, you can see documents. So that is the title of the document being shown to you. That's the title of the document. Okay. Now, if I change, let's say for instance, I change the title of my document. Maybe I change it to something like birthday invite. Okay. As soon as I did that, look at the tab again, you can notice that the tab has changed to birthday invites. Do we all see that? Okay, good. So that is the function of the title. That's the function of the title. The title is just to help to show what will be revealed on your website tab and to give a title to your document. Okay, good. So I believe every one of us understand that aspect. So I can move on. Any question? Don't worry, today's class will be little by little. Any question from anybody? All right, no question, so I can proceed. Good, thank you. Now, also, another thing I need to show to you is that you will notice that after this HTML, the next thing you have is your head. And we have the opening tag for the head elements and the closing tag for the head element. Now, I know I've not told you what an opening tag is and what a closing tag is. So in HTML, we always have what we call the opening. Sometimes, not every time, okay? Some elements has what we call the opening tag, and some elements has what we call the closing tag. So let me go to my slide to explain that. Oh, okay, I don't have that open now. I can't do that here. Okay, let me do that on the code aspect. So when an element is opened, when you call something a tag in HTML, what we are saying is that it starts with an angular bracket, okay? Then let's say it's the heading element. You put the name of the element inside it. Then you have your close, don't mind, okay? You have your closing angular bracket, okay? So now what we have here is an opening tag. Good. If you want to have your closing tag, what you will have is open the brackets, then you will have a /. Now VS Code, because VS Code has an extension called Prettier, so it's already auto-completing for me. But I want to explain now. So the / is to show that this particular tag is the closing tag. Okay, so the opening tag will not have that /. So please look closely into what I have here. Let me see if I can expand my tab, my screen, sorry. Okay, so you can see the opening. This is the opening tag without the /. Then this is the closing tag having the / after the opening, the angular bracket, before the name of the element. Okay, so that is what we call your opening and your closing tag. So each of these things is a tag. Then all together, we call it head elements. So just note it like that. This is a tag, this is a tag, this is an opening tag, this is a closing tag. And together, they are called elements. And this is your head element. Okay, now, you will notice that when I was giving us a brief overview of your website, we discussed something called your header and your menu navigation bar. So that's the same thing we call head here. So that is the top part of your website, and inside your head, you can have a lot of things placed inside it. So inside your head tag, you can have your meta tag that you will understand that statement when we get to search engine optimization. So you can have your meta tags, you can have your CSS code, you can have you can link your ads, that is the code you are using to track people's visits for your advert platform, like maybe Facebook ad or Google tags, that is from Google Ads. You can put all those code in your head tag. Now, that might be a little bit complex for us. Probably you are not getting what I'm saying. Maybe I'm speaking in a strange language, but just be listening and get to understand. You will understand better as we proceed. So, but for now, that is a better way to explain what I just said now. So your head tag can take a lot of things. Then your head elements can take a lot of information about your website. Then you proceed to your body. So in the body part, that is where you have your website content. So that is where you put your everything about your website. You put them in your body tag. So the head, how the header will look like, how the navigation menu will look like, how your featured visual, that is your hero, how it will look like, your website content, your footer, everything will be in this body elements. Then lastly, the closing tag for your HTML. Anytime there is an opening, this is the opening tag for the HTML, there must be a closing for it. This is the opening for the body, there is a closing for body. This is the opening for the head, this is the closing for the head. So that is because those elements have opening and closing tag. There are some elements that doesn't have opening and closing tag, as we are going to see as we progress. So for now, I need a feedback. Any confusion? Any confusion? Let's check our Facebook page and also from this aspect. Any challenge? So I can know if I should continue. Any challenge so far? Okay, no challenge. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to learn about the heading elements. All right, no confusion yet. So there will be confusion, don't worry. So we want to start with your heading elements. Heading elements. Okay. Now, in web design, just like in your, if you have made use of something like Microsoft Word before, you will notice that at the top, you will have your topic. Am I correct? So your topic is like is a heading. Do you get it? So that's the same thing that works here in HTML. You have heading for your content. Then you also have what we call paragraphs, that is the body text. Do you get it? So we have 6 levels of headings in HTML. We have your H1. H1 is the first heading. Now, listen to this. If you are making use of VS Code, as soon as you press H1, that's the highest level of your heading. That's the biggest heading you can ever have in HTML. H1. Now, when you press H1, you will have this option below, just to show you that it's available. That is, that particular number is available, particular element you just typed is available on VS Code. And by clicking on it, it can give you an autocomplete for what you want to do. Do you get it? So just type H1, click on it, on that option, or you press tab on your system. Just press tab. So tab means you are accepting that option. Okay, so and as soon as you do that, the opening and the closing tag for the H1 will be shown. Now, if you want to read more about the heading elements, just click on the MDN reference. That's the Mozilla Developer Network reference. So it's a very good online resource. In fact, if you want to learn more about all these HTML elements I'll be talking about, just check their MDN reference and you will learn more about it. For instance, if I click on it now, it will ask you, do you want to open it in an external website? Okay, so I will copy it and let me show you what you will get if you check the MDN reference. Okay, so let me open a web tab, a new tab, sorry. So let me paste that link and press enter. Okay, So now you can see this is the MDN reference for that particular element heading. So you can see the HTML section heading elements. The H1 to H6 HTML elements represent 6 levels of section headings. Do you get it? I said it at the beginning. So in HTML, we have 6 levels of section headings. And H1 is the highest section level, and H6 is the lowest. Do you get it? And by default, heading elements create a block level box. I will tell you what that statement means as we progress. So it creates a block level box in the layout. That means it has its own paragraph, like it has its own space. Okay? It doesn't compete, no other things can compete with it. It's a standalone element. And it has its own paragraph. Okay, so that's what we call your heading element. Let me go back to our code. Beautiful. We are enjoying the class. I can feel it. Okay, so I will type heading 1 inside. So your typing, your content should be between the opening and the closing tag. So between the H1 and the H1 opening tag and the H1 closing tag, you can see my heading 1. Okay, so let's check out the H2. So I will type H2, press tab, heading 2. You see it? So you can notice that the size of the heading 1 is bigger than the size of the heading 2. Okay, so let's do another one, H3, press it and press tab, heading 3. Okay, so you can notice the size is reducing. H4, heading 4. Then let's do H5. H5, press your tab, heading 5. Okay, then let's do H6. H6, heading 6, and that's all. So there is nothing like H7. If you try it, it will not work. You can see it, there is no option for H7. So the next thing you can have is your paragraph. So anything smaller than H6 should be a paragraph. That's the meaning. So you can see how the size of the heading, the section headings are reducing the lower you go. Get it? So that is very soon we see the application of this. So that's about your heading. So for now, let's have our birthday invite heading. So I want to type H1, tab, and I will type something like, it's my birthday, hooray. It's my birthday, okay? So that's the heading for our birthday invite design. You get it? So we are designing a website that a simple website that you can use to invite your friends for your birthday. Okay, good. Now we are done with the heading. So we want to put another thing there, which is an H2 element, H2, and inside it we write, you are specially invited to my birthday. Okay, so you are specially invited to my birthday. Let me close this place so we can have more space. All right. Okay, so now if you don't want a situation where you are sliding left and right to see the full length of your code space, you can just come to view and click on word wrap. So that will make all the content to be, you don't have any issue with swiping left, swiping right. Okay, good. So that's the heading 2. You are specially invited to my birthday. Okay. So now we want to introduce another heading, another element called the horizontal rule. Horizontal rule. Okay. Horizontal rule is just an horizontal line that is drawn under an element, or that is just drawn on your website. Okay, so and horizontal rule element is a self-closing element. The meaning of that is it doesn't have an opening tag or a closing tag. It only has one tag, and that is the opening tag, and that's all. So HR, you can see there is no closing tag for it, and you can see what it does. It will just give you a long horizontal rule. Okay, if you want to reduce the length, we can do that in our styling by using CSS. But for HTML, let's leave it like that. So we already have an horizontal rule under our first two headings. Okay, so now let's use another level of heading. So we want to use H3 to write another content now, H3. And inside that H3, we are going to write what we call what you should bring along. What you should bring along. So these are the list of things that the people you are inviting her to bring along. Okay, so and I'm using H3. So I'm trying to apply what I just taught you now about heading. Good. So now, why? Let me remove the column here. Now let me introduce us to another element called the paragraph element. So the paragraph element is what you use to type your ordinary text in HTML. So it's just what we call just create your P tag and press tab. Okay, so this is your paragraph element, just P alone, letter P. So don't forget, this is coding, and that's why you have all these things. If you just type, it's my birthday, without putting H1, the computer will not understand how to position your text. So it will just be showing as ordinary text, whereas this is an heading. Okay. So that's why all those tags are very important. Now for paragraph, we make use of P tag. So, and your paragraph element has an opening tag, and it also has a closing tag. So inside the paragraph, I want to write something like, while coming for the birthday, please come along with the following to have the best experience. Okay, so while coming for the birthday, please come along with the following to have the best experience. Okay, so now you want to show a list of what they should come along with. Now, this will help us to introduce us now to another HTML element. So now we want to introduce a list element because we want to list out what they should bring along when they are coming for your birthday. Do you get it? Good. Now I'm teaching us by using what we call a problem-solving method. So, you know, the method they used to teach us in school is that instead of showing us, they want to teach you how to repair a car. So in class, what they will teach you is different type of mechanical tools. So you see spanner, you see screwdriver, you see all those things. But you might never have an experience of how do I use a spanner? Where will I put the spanner? Are there the different sizes of spanner? Where did they work for? So they don't teach you what we call using problem-solving method. They make use of theoretical method. And with that, that's why a lot of people graduate from school and they can apply what they have learned. So I'm using a problem-solving method now. I have a problem now, and the problem is I want to create a list of what people should bring. So what should I do? So the next thing is you have to introduce what we call list elements. Do you get it? Are we still with me? So if you are still with me, can you type list elements? So let's type list elements on Zoom and on Facebook, list elements. Kindly drop that as a comment to show that you are still with me. Please confirm on Facebook also. All right, list elements, beautiful, good. So now in HTML, we have two types of list elements. We have what we call your ordered list, and we have what we call unordered list. And I will show us the difference in the two. Now, the other time when we were talking about heading, we said your headings come with their own blocks. That is, it has its own paragraph. Look at what just happened there. Because I just typed two things without adding any tag to it, whether it is heading or whether it is paragraph. You can notice on the front end side is coming up on one line. Whereas on my code side here, I have it on two lines. So because normally HTML will format anything you write that doesn't have a tag. It will be formatting it as one line, unless that particular tag can add its own block. So for instance, if I put a paragraph element in front of this statement now, let me move it in. If I put a paragraph element, I wrap this statement in a paragraph element, you can notice on my front end side, it has created its own block for it, and on ordered list has come down. Okay, the same thing if I use a heading tag, if I wrap it in a heading tag, maybe like H2 or H6. So if I wrap it in the heading tag, see what will also happen. Get it? So it's very important to pay attention to that. But for now, we are not wrapping anything. I just use that to explain to you that it's important you use the right tags. Okay, good. So I was trying to talk about about list elements. So I said we have two types of list elements. We have the ordered list and the unordered list. Unordered list simply means this particular list you are creating, they don't have to follow any particular order. So for instance, if you are listing the ingredients for cooking one of my favorite food, fried rice. So if you are listing the elements for cooking fried rice, you don't need to follow any order in listing that particular thing. So you can list rice first, list the green beans next, followed by carrots, followed by your salt, and any other thing you use. I don't know what you use to cook fried rice, but I like it, yeah. Okay, so you can list the ingredients as you like. But now, when it comes to how to prepare the fried rice, you have to list it in the right order, because you don't ask people to firstly, maybe the first thing you are writing is add Maggi, and the second thing that follows is put the rice in the pot, into the pot or something like that. It doesn't make sense. So you have to follow the order that the intended readers will be able to follow in cooking the fried rice using your steps. Do you get it now? So that's the difference between ordered and unordered list. Let's see it in action. So while coming for the birthday, please come along with the following to have the best experience. So now this doesn't have to be in any particular order. So it can come up in any order. You can bring those items, you can pick them up from your house in any order that you want. It doesn't have to follow any particular order. So that's why we are going to make use of unordered list. So the tag for your unordered list is UL. UL. So just type UL and press tab to accept it. Then you press enter to give a space between your UL. Now, this is the first time we are doing something like that, so pay attention. So just press enter on your keyboard. it will put a space between your UL, the opening and the closing tag. Okay, then in that space, type LI. LI means list. UL is what you use to define that this list that I want to create is on ordered list. Then the LI simply means this is a list. Do you get it? So LI, tab, good. As soon as you do that, on your front end, see what you have there. You have a bullet list, a bullet point, okay? So that means the list you're about to create will be coming out using a bullet point. So you are creating a bullet point list. And that is an example of an unordered list. If you want different style of bullet points, maybe you want a square, you want a circle, you don't want a circle, you want a star, things like that. Those things can be done using your CSS. It can be achieved using your CSS, or you set an attribute for your LI using HTML, but that's advanced. We don't need that now. Okay, so let's just leave it like this. So your LI, the first thing I want them to bring when they are coming is let them come with their plates. I will not be giving them plates. So if you want to eat in this birthday celebration, come with your plates. Okay, then come with your spoon. So another LI, that's another list. So spoon. So please come with your spoon. Then they should come with their water bottle because there is no water provision. So they should come with their water bottle. Okay. Then what else should they come with? For the birthday, let them come with their invitation. It's strictly by invitation. You don't want crowd. You know, the Nigerian economy is on the high end now. So people are looking for where they can eat free food. So come with your IV. Invitation, entry is strictly by invitation. Okay. Then what else should they come with for the birthday? Okay, what else? And someone should suggest one for me. What else should they come with for the birthday? So you will notice that all your items that you are listing, you are wrapping it in LI. That is in your list elements. Okay, good. And all of them are inside your UL, your unordered list. Someone should give me something I can add. Drinks, okay, yes. So you should all come with your drinks. I'm only providing food. So if you want to take drinks, come with your drinks. Okay, thank you for that. All right, so let's leave it like that. So now just click behind your UL, the closing tag for your UL. Click behind it, then press enter to move to another coding line. So we've listed what they should bring along, okay? So let's give them direction to their place, okay? So direction to the place, we will use another H3. Now, in web design, it's advisable that you should only have one H1 per page. Hello? So for every web page, is highly recommended that you should not have more than one H1. You can have many H2, many H3s, many H4s, but don't have more than one H1. Do we get that? Okay, beautiful. So your H3, this time around, you want to give them direction to my house. Direction to my house. So this is how they can locate my house. So let's use another paragraph text to explain that statement. P tag, okay? So while coming for the birthday, please follow this direction. Please follow this guide to locate my house. Okay? Follow this guide to locate my house. All right. So now this time around, we want to create another list. But because this is a guide, so you should have an understanding that this must be ordered list. It must be ordered list. Okay. All right, sorry for I need to attend to something here. Sorry for the break in transmission. So I'm back now. Okay, now I was explaining that this time around we need to create an ordered list. Why? Because it's a direction you're about to give, so they need to follow that step. So it must be an ordered list. Do you understand? So let's get started. So to create ordered list, what you need to do is start with OL. OL. For unordered list, you use UL. For ordered list, you use OL. So OL, tab, okay? Press enter to separate it. Then move on to type your LI. Those are the things you put inside your ordered list. Then tab again. So take a cab from fire service at Ebu Road. Okay, take a cab from fire service junction at Ebu Road. So that's the first thing they are expected to do. So you can see it's coming up on our website already. So, and you can see being an ordered list, it comes out as a number. So ordered list normally, most times will come out as a number. And you can change the numbering system. You can change it from number 1 to Roman figure, things like that, by setting an attribute. But we are not into that now, so that one is not necessary. It's beyond our scope. Let's just go little by little. So take a cab from Fire Service Junction at Ebu Road. If you don't know Ebu Road is in Owerri, Imo State. So take a cab from Fire Service Junction at Ebu Road. So the next thing is drop at Anglican Church of Christ. I don't know if there is any church like that. Anglican Church of Christ. Ebu. Okay. So that's where you are going to drop or highlight from the cab. I remember my teacher in secondary school, he always tell us, you don't drop from a cab, you highlight from a cab. So I think that's the right word, highlight. But let's just use our normal English language here now. So drop at Anglican Church of Christ, Ebu, okay? Then the next thing you want them to do, still another other side of the road. That is opposite the church. Okay, that's the third thing. Then the next thing is LI again. So there is a one-story building, house with a black gate. Okay, you will see, not there is. You will see, after you have crossed, you will see a one-story building house with a black gate. Okay. Knock on the gate or give me, that means they have arrived, that's the meaning, or give me a call. So, lastly, Li, welcome to my house. So we've given them the direction and we've made use of a list element, okay? Welcome to my house. That's your ordered list. So click at the yes, all the steps I've been talking about are applicable on the Android app. So don't worry, by the time I share the app with you and you check it out, you will get it. If you have any challenge, I'm always available for you. So they are all available on the Android app. You can trust me. Okay? So click at the back side of your OL closing tag and press enter. So we are done with the list creation. Okay. Now, the next thing we want to do now is we want to give them a Google link address. So for people who want to use Google Map, they can easily use that to locate my house. Okay. So to do that, we'll be making use of anchor tag. Now you will be learning anchor, what we mean by anchor tag. But before we do that, let's get another heading, another H3 heading, and let's type Google Map link. So in case you don't want to follow this direction I just gave you, you want to follow Google Map to my house. So this is how to do it. This is how to get there. This is the link you can use. So click on that link and you will get to my house. So how do we add a link to our website using HTML? The element we use is the element we call anchor elements. Anchor elements, okay? So far we have looked at the heading element, paragraph element, list element. We've looked at ordered list and unordered list. So we've seen the horizontal rule. Now, another element we are learning now is the anchor tag. Why are we learning anchor tag? We have a problem here. The problem is we need to insert a link into our website. You get it? So let's insert a link into our website now. Just press A on your keyboard. So we call it A tag or anchor tag. So press the A and press tab to accept it. So you will have this information you have here. So the href is the link. So between the quotation, there is a quotation here. If you are using a small screen, I don't know if you will see it, but there is a quotation immediately after the equal to sign. There are two quotation marks. Can you see that? If you can see it, let me know. Immediately after the href, then you have equal to. After the equal to, you have the quotation mark. Can you see that? Oh, beautiful. Good. Someone has given me a feedback that they can see it. Good. So within that quotation mark, that is where you are going to insert your web link. Do you get it? So let's say the Google Map link I want to give them is https://afterschoolacademy.ng. You know, that's not a Google Map link. It's just an example. So afterschoolacademy.ng, okay? So that's the link address. Then, if you want to know how to get a Google Map link for any location, that's an assignment for you. Search it on Google. So it's something you should know. You should know how to get a Google Map link for any location. You can also get a Google Map link using your WhatsApp. Many of you have not used that function on WhatsApp before. So learn how to do that. Okay, beautiful. So I just give us, I'm just putting an example of a link here. This is a link, and this link will direct to our website if you click on it. Okay, now between the opening and the closing tag for your A tag, between that opening and the closing tag, you know, the end of the opening tag is this closing angular bracket. That is the right angular bracket. Get it? So between them, you are going to put the link text. So there's something we call link text. That is, what will people see for them to click on it? So I will just put my house on map. So that would be the link test. So when this, if I scroll down now, you can see it, my house address on map. So that is what they will see. But by the time they click on it, it will now lead them to that, to this particular web address. Do we get that? So that's how to add a link to your, that's how to add a link to your website, making use of the A tag. Let me explain it again. When you activate your A tag, you will have your href. Between your href, there is a, in front of your href, after the equal to sign, there is a quotation. That quotation mark, within that quotation, between that quotation mark, you will put your web address where you are redirecting them to. Now, after the quotation mark, you should have the angular bracket that closes your opening tag. You get it? Then immediately after that, you insert your link text. So your link text will be what you want people to read for them to understand what the link is about. If you have any challenge with that, please let me know. So when they click on that particular link text, it will now redirect them to the link you have added. They will not see the link. You are the one that knows what you have put in the link. Do you get that? So now we've seen the anchor tag. So you can use that to check, get to my house using the Google Map link. Now we want to add image. So I want to increase their expectation, or I want them to start salivating. Okay. So let's add an image to our website. A website without an image is not yet a complete website. So let's add an image. Okay, good. So how do we add an image to a website? There are two basic ways to do that. The picture you want to add, you can add it to your HTML folder, or you add it using, you add the image using a link. So you can add the image using a link, okay? But for this particular class, because we are learning this, what we are learning in this class is towards WordPress. So the option we are going to be using is you will put the image in your HTML folder. So remember, at the beginning, we have a folder that was created called the HTML folder. So now we add that image to the HTML folder. So let me share my screen to show you how I'm going to do that now. I want to add a picture image. I want to add an image, a picture to my HTML folder so that I can link to that image and add it to my website. Do you get that? So follow me now as I share my system screen. Okay, so I'll be sharing my entire system screen now for me to be able to do that. So I believe I'm doing that already. Okay, so I'm on my system now. So I will go to where I have the image. Okay, so I want to copy the cake image. So I will copy that, and I will go to where I have my HTML folder. I think I have it. Add my own personal image. Okay, so let me copy my image. Copy. Then I will go to that folder again in my documents. Okay, HTML. Then I will paste the image. So I believe every one of us are seeing how I'm putting the image in my folder. So just put the two images in your HTML folder or the folder you are using for your coding. Then with that, we are done. Let's go back to our VS Code now. Any question about that? If you understand, please type understood. I want to be sure that you understand what I just did. I'm moving now to my index.html. So here I am I'm waiting for a reply, please. If you understand what I just did now by adding the images to the HTML folder, let me know. Understood, good, beautiful. So someone has given me a response. On Facebook, do I have a response on Facebook? Okay, so now you can see on the HTML folder here now in our VS Code, we have the two images here. This is the cake.jpg, and this is my Medium profile. That's for the image, sorry. That's what I used to name the image, okay? Now, how do I insert these images into my design, into my web design, into this particular simple website to invite someone for the birthday, okay? For a birthday, sorry. So now let's do that. So to insert an image, you use an element called img, the image element, img tag. So just type img and press tab to accept it. So you will have two options. You will have your src and your alt called the alternate text. The src simply means the source, the image source. So src means source, alt means alternate. If I over it, you will see it there. So the image URL, that is this attribute, is mandatory something. It's just for your source, where the image is coming from. Then the alternate is to help screen readers and also to help your search engine crawlers, for them to be able to understand what your image is all about. So it's just like a text, an image description. And it's very important. In web design, any image you are importing to your website must carry an alternate text. It must have a description. It makes it easier when people search for something relating to that image on Google search, for that image to come out as a search result. Do you get it? Okay, let me show you an example of that. Let me go to Google. Okay. So I'm on my browser tab. Okay, let me open another browser. So let me do a Google search for After School Academy. Obviously, you will see a lot of people that are using that name or that are using something similar to it. So After School Academy, and I do a Google search for it. Okay, now, because I'm on my personal system, it's already telling me that my business, I run a business on Google that has that name. That's why I'm showing your business on Google. Okay, so let's leave that aspect. That's not what I want to show you. Then you can see our Facebook, our LinkedIn, our Instagram. Awesome. Here's our website. I wonder. So our website should be the first result that should come out. If our website is not coming out as the first result, then that means I have done a bad work on my SEO. But I did a good work on the SEO. I did a good work. Okay, so let's proceed. Now, what I want to show you by making this search is, if I click on images, good. Now you can see options of brief. The results that I'm seeing here are based on what was written when these images were uploaded to their respective websites. Let me repeat that. The reason why these images are shown or are coming out is because when these particular images were uploaded to their respective websites, that search result I made, After School Academy, was part of the alternate text that was entered. Do you get it? That's why the images can come out. And for instance, this is our Facebook, this is our logo. So when this logo was uploaded, After School Academy was used as alternate text. So you can see some other images that have been uploaded using that name. And that's why Google is showing them. Okay, so that's the function of your alternate text. So these are our own logo as a search result. Let's go back to our VS Code. So I believe we understand what an alternate text is all about. That's the function of this alt. So source is where is your image located. Now, how do you bring in this image into your code? So between the quotation, just press slash, that is a forward slash. Just press forward slash on your keyboard. As soon as you press forward slash on your keyboard, everything inside your folder will be revealed. All the files in your folder will be revealed. So what I need now at this option is the cake image. So I will just click on cake. Then if I scroll down now, I should have the image of the cake. So you can see the image of the cake is showing here. Now let me delete it in case you are doubting. Probably I've done a magic to bring it in. So you can see there is no way I can even scroll down again now. So there is no option, nothing underneath again. But now let me add it, forward slash, and click on cake. Now scroll, you can see it. I have the birthday image below it. Do you get it? Good. Now let's put an horizontal rule, so that there will be a space between my house address and the. Okay, good. So I put an horizontal rule, HRL, using HR elements, so that there will be a difference, a space between my house address on map and the image. Do you get it? Good. So that's how to insert your image. Now the alternate text, that's the text description. So just type the description of the image of a cake. Image of a cake. That's beautiful. So people that couldn't see, that are making use of screen readers, the screen reader will just read to their hearing, image of a cake. And if someone search on Google, image of a cake, this particular image will also come out as a result. Okay, what's SEO? Oh, it's like I mentioned that, okay? SEO means search engine optimization. That's a question that was asked on Facebook. What is SEO? SEO means search engine optimization. So you are trying to optimize the results that comes out when people make a search on search engines like Google, like Yahoo, etc. So when you optimize your website in that way, it helps the visibility of your website. It also helps to increase the traffic of your website. Do you get it? All right. Okay. So please give me a second. I want to do something here. Okay, sorry about that. I just need to pass across an information. Okay, let's proceed. So I've inserted the image and I've inserted the alternate text. Now you won't see the alternate text on your code or in the front end. You won't see it. The only time the alternate text can show is probably when the visitor is trying to load your website and the image is not loading, maybe due to network issues, something like that, then the alternate text can show up. But when you don't have situations like that, you won't see the alternate text. You will only see the image, okay? So let me add the second image. I want to add that one at the top of our website. Okay, so that will come up immediately after you are specially invited to my birthday. Okay, so let me scroll up so that you can see the magic, how the image will appear. All right, so I will put the image here. Let me put a space. Those spaces, any space you put in your code does not really affect your front end. You understand? So it's just for your own code readability so that your code can be readable. Okay. All right, so let's add another image, IMG. Press tab, okay? Then I want to add this particular personal image. Then, so on your SRC, the quotation / put the / then click on the image. So I've done that. So the image is there already. It's a big image, so I can't cover everything. It's not showing everything here. Don't worry, we will later see it very well. Then on the alternate text, put my personal image. So that's my personal image. And that's the description of the image. So with that, we have come to the end of our simple website that we designed for our birthday invites. And we use that to learn about some basic elements in HTML, and so as to learn some important terminologies in web design. Okay, so any question before I show us the big view of this thing we have done? Any question? Any question? You said it's advisable not to use more than one H1 on a page. Is it also applicable to H2 to H6? Okay, so it's not applicable to H2 to H6. You can have as many as possible H2s. You can have as many as possible H3, H4. It depends on how you want to organize your page. Do you get it? So, but your H1 should just be one. Let me show you a live example of that. So thank you for that brilliant question. So let me go to our web browser, and I will use that to explain what I'm saying. So this is After School Academy's website. The only H1 we have on this website is Get Skilled, Become Relevant. That's the only H1 we have here. Okay. The next heading we have here is Courses Open for Enrollment. And this particular heading is H2. Then we have our paragraph text. This is an horizontal row, this line, HR. Okay, it's even good I'm showing us this. You can see the application of those things in real life. Okay, good. So this is H1. This is paragraph text. Now, this is a button. I've not shown you how to create a button, but actually your button is a combination of anchor text, and you put your anchor text inside your anchor element to create with the button. You understand? So when you click on this now, it directs you to a particular link. Okay, let's proceed. This is an image. So using the image elements, you can achieve this. This is an image. Don't worry about the animations. All the animations are done using something like CSS, Bootstrap, or those ones. But you know, this is just to give you an overview using HTML. Okay, this is another heading. This is an H2 heading. H2. This is paragraph elements. This is a P tag. Anchor elements. Okay, same thing for that. This is another H2. So you can see you can have as much as possible H2. This is an HR. Okay, this is H2. This is paragraph, anchor elements. This is H2, but we decide to bold it, but it's still H2. Paragraph, anchor elements. Now this is another, I think this should be H3. Let me see. Okay, beautiful. So this is H3. This is H3. Then HR. This is H4, paragraph elements, H4, paragraph elements, H4, paragraph element, H4, paragraph element. This is an image element, image element, image element, image element. Okay, so you can see that's I've used everything we have learned today is the basic structure of the website. That's how your website works. So all these ones, this is just H4 in block letter, then all the paragraph elements. And these are anchor elements text. So you can see the about us is clickable. If I click on it now, it will direct me to the about us page. So how do you achieve that using the anchor elements? Okay, so with that, we've come to the end of our 1 day of code. Any question from anybody before I show us our website that we just built? Any question? Any question? Any question? Any question? Okay, so let me go ahead and show us the website we built. I will open, okay, let me share my screen to show us that, so that in case you want to check your own also using your browser, you can see it. You get it? So let me share my screen. So I will enter where we have the folder. Okay, this is the HTML folder. So you open this index. You open the index folder. Okay, so open the index folder. Just right click on it. If you want to open it with your, okay, let me just open it with my, what's the name of this browser? Sorry, Edge. So let me just open it with my Edge. Just double click on it. Just once, open. Oh, now something just happened. We can't see anything here. Why? Because we are not saving our work while we are working. So let me go back to the HTML file and press Ctrl S. So Ctrl S means you have saved your work. So let's go back to our website, then reload it. Something should show up now. Beautiful. So we have our website now. Okay. So now you can see what I was talking about the other time. My personal image, that's the text I used. You remember, that's the anchor text, sorry, the alternate text. That's what it's showing. Then the image of a cake. Now I'm wondering why is the image not showing? Sometimes based on the browser you are using, some things might not show up. So maybe I should check Google. Let me use Google Chrome. Let's see if the image will show. But currently, this particular browser is telling me that it's not formatting my image. Okay, but you can see the website. It's my birthday. You can. Okay, CSS. We will not be touching the CSS aspect. What we need for now is just this HTML, just to learn the terminologies. So all the styling, we do it on our WordPress. In fact, the structure we'll also be using our WordPress. So we are not really going to CSS. Thank you for that question, Aziz. So maybe later, if you want to learn CSS or those ones, we can look into that. Thank you. Okay, so that's my website. Let me open it. Let me go back to my VS Code and let me do something. Let me, sorry. I want to, okay. Let me save my work. Control S, that's meaning of save. Or you come to file and you click save. Okay. So now let me go back to that folder and let me open it with Google Chrome. Probably Chrome will open my images. So yet, Chrome is not opening my images. what might be the reason for that? Okay, so not necessarily you might have issues like this sometimes. You have not done anything wrong. Everything is working well. You can see it's showing in our preview here. This is the image. If I expand it, so sometimes you have all those browser issues. So, but this is the website on the preview. Okay, beautiful. So, with that, we have come to the end of today's class. Please check Facebook if there is any. Now, your assignment for today is to reproduce this website. Using everything you have learned, you have to reproduce this website. So for those that are using phone, you can also achieve it with your phone. For those that are using system, you can achieve it with your system. So I think I have answered that question. Are these steps applicable on Android app? Absolutely, yes. So the Android app that I will suggest for us, I'm going to share the link on our WhatsApp group. I can't share that now. I need to copy it from the Play Store and share it with us. So I will share that link with us, and you can use that app to write your code just as we have been doing here. Do you get it? So it's applicable on phone. Everything we have done today, you can achieve it with your phone. All right. So that's all for today. If there is no other question, then let's take our tea break. So we share it. Someone should share the tea now. Okay. Wow. That's been a great journey today, and it has been lovely. Thank you, Adenike. You stayed right from the beginning to the end. Thank you. And for everyone that joined us on Facebook, you are all welcome. We are glad. You said? Okay, Daniel Victor, thank you for joining us. And the other people that have left. So we appreciate your presence. So see you all again. I'm going to share the recordings with us before the end of today. And the slides, okay, we did not use any slides today. I only showed us the elements we want to cover. Okay, let me confirm if I have covered all the elements. So that's very important before I close the lesson. Okay. You should see my screen in a few seconds. So I want to quickly confirm if I've covered everything for today. Okay, so we talk about the heading elements, the paragraph, the void. So void elements are just elements that doesn't need a closing tag, like your HR element is a void element. Okay, so we could talk about list elements. Okay, we did not talk about nesting and indentation. So that's how it's about putting different lists inside another list. So, okay, it's not really necessary for, we've already learned how to create a list. That's the most important aspect. Okay, we talk about anchor elements, beautiful. We talk about image elements also. And we have our birthday invite project. That's your assignment. All right, so I've done justice to today's class. Wow, awesome, beautiful. So see you all once again on Friday. And do have a lovely day. God bless you all. And I'm glad to have you here. Have a wonderful time. Take your assignments, and if you have any challenge, share on the WhatsApp group and we attend to it. Have a wonderful day. Shalom.